Testing. Okay, microphone is set. Why do people ask, what is my Emacs theme? It's not a theme. You just type numbers in. You just pick colors and you type them in. It's not a theme. I don't even think there are Emacs themes. I guess there are because people keep asking. There didn't used to be. So screen cap the stream and sample the colors, and then you know what the theme is. I will say that default color schemes for basically every editor in the world are terrible. Like, I've never seen an editor that came with a sensible default color scheme. So there's that. How do you manage a team of programmers? You mostly hire people who can manage themselves. My favorite snack that is no longer available. There was a company called Sokoban that was sort of a chocolate truffle aggregator, and they had these great boxes of chocolates, and they closed their company a year ago or two. How do you find them? It's very difficult, actually. Okay. This morning on the stream, I did some stuff about solidifying in this turn-based Sokoban game how the movement system worked, and we got it to a point where objects like sync, which is pretty good, and sort of this afternoon off the stream, I cleaned up some other things or fixed some other. I just sort of continued down the natural to-do list that arose out of that and testing various other more complex situations in the game. And I realized that this system that I'm doing is not really sufficient. Let me find the code. So we were doing this stuff, and we had, if someone's an initiator and finishes, then all the animations that he was synced with finish and all that. And that's, I sort of thought at the time, that's fine, because for now, this sort of demands that all animations finish at the same time as the initiator or earlier. And I was like, well, I don't know if we're ever going to need something besides that. But as I played around this afternoon, I was like, well, obviously we do, because there's simple situations like you do an action that triggers another action, and both of those things take time, but they're also both part of the same turn. So you don't want to do any of this post-move reevaluate or anything like that, or the undo thing especially. I don't use Sublime Text 3, so I don't know. So So I need to change the way this works again. It's already changed a little bit since the last stream, but I want to change it so that instead of everything being tagged by who initiated the movement, we're going to tag things by an explicit transaction ID. And then when a particular transaction completes, then we advance the turn. And that's probably going to be tested outside. The turn advancement is going to be tested outside this loop, like down here at the bottom. So I'm just going to start doing that. So up in Entity Manager, I'm going to say transaction ID is a U32, and I'm going to say next transaction ID to issue is a transaction ID. We'll say 1. We'll say 0 is just like false. Next transaction ID to retire yeah. And so when we issue a transaction, we should make this 1 as well. So we'll say get next transaction ID result manager.next transaction ID to issue. Oops. Okay. So there's that. Now, on this thing, we have initiated by. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to say ID is a transaction ID. We'll spell it out. Okay, initiated by. We have all this initiated by stuff. Okay, this part is fine. Remember this like copying the visual interpolation thing that I kept having problems with because I'd copy fields I didn't want? Well, if we copy the transaction ID, that's actually exactly what we want. So that's fine. Okay, so okay, this is like if it's an initiator. We don't care about that. We're just going to say we're just going to put everyone that physically moved into this physically moved array. They're not initiators anymore necessarily. Okay. So, for anyone that physically moved, We don't do any of this stuff. This is all redundant now. Okay, so if physically move dot count, do this stuff. So if we actually changed anything. Wait, did I call two things? Yeah. So we get rid of this initiated by stuff. Now, we say should proceed is advance transaction, or maybe, we'll call it maybe retire next transaction. Only if we physically moved anyone. If we should proceed, we do the next buffered move. And then down here. Okay, something like this. So we only want to push a new frame data onto the undo list if we retired a transaction, right? We don't want to do that in the middle of a transaction. Now there are undo end frames. I'm going to put on my list here, audit undo end frame. I don't want to do that now, but I remember there are people calling this in special cases that we probably don't want to exist anymore. Okay. So that's all good. We have to set the transaction ID and stuff. I believe that's here. So instead of initiated by, we're going to say transaction ID is a transaction ID that's equal to 0. Where did I? Okay. Transaction ID. Add visual interpolation. Okay. If transaction ID, then we set that on the interpolation. Otherwise, we set it to be, what did we call that? Get next transaction ID manager. Okay. Now we haven't defined maybe retire next transaction, but that's fine. We didn't get all the initiated bys. Okay. Oh. I have to audit this thing, this cleanup comment that you see. but I don't want to do that right now while I'm overhauling this other thing. So the question is, what do we do for this transaction ID? Are there portables in this engine? What's a portable? No, I mean, I don't really know what you mean by that. Okay, this is a little bit of a weird hacky case, so I'm just gonna... Oh, right, yeah, so portables were sort of the base class of entity, and I didn't bother with them this time. There's no such thing. I thought you meant something more general term that people might use, but no. Yeah, I just have been meaning to get rid of those for a long time, and I did. And I did. Yeah, that's just old. PID should get renamed is all. That name doesn't make sense anymore. That's just what happens as you change code around and so forth. I'm going to adjust my camera since I'm all reclining now. Okay, so for everybody, yeah, this is a weird special case. So we still have a couple more of these to hit, I think. Yeah, 471. This one is going to be okay, so now we're at maybe retire. I'm going to define that. may be retired. Next transaction. So, for is less than 0 continue. Now, so it was called next transaction ID to retire. Oh, if so if we haven't issued it yet, we can't possibly retire it. Okay. If it.transaction ID is equal to ID return, because that animation's still active and it belongs to this transaction. So then at some point we retire things. Incomplete, should we add a safety valve of killing an animation after 10 seconds or something before something does not complete, because otherwise the game will just hang on that animation. We should call that robustness. Well, this is a return false, and this is a return false, and this is a yielding bool. Oh. Ini line 506. It's what? Oh, it should proceed. This is just manager. What am I talking about? All right, well, that's, who knows what that's going to do, honestly. I couldn't tell you. Okay, I can at least walk one step. I can walk multiple steps without the animation resetting. The test is what happens when I push a block. Whoa, okay. Well, I mean, okay. So that's resetting, which is annoying, but I think it did that before. Let's see what happens with undo. Dude, this is good sauce right here. This is good sauce. Any different sounding keyboard might be due to the mic position and the kind of mic and stuff. Like my microphone is not that far from the keyboard. All right, well that was pretty good for, whoa. Okay, well, I don't know what the hell that was. Okay, I gotta fix that. The hell is happening there? Okay, wait. Okay. Oh, right. Well, I guess enact next buffered move. So this is when I'm holding down an arrow key, which is one of the things that I got all working nicely this afternoon. Apparently not so much. So we actually want to do the undo end frame before the enact next buffered move. No, it doesn't think I'm moving the block, no. what it's doing is it's just restarting the animation every frame from the physical position of the guy, so it looks like he's never moving. I don't have a special Q colon detector, no. Okay. So why? We call an act next buffered move. Let's just check the transaction retiring and making sure that works. So I just want to see that go up as we play. Okay. Good. Oh wait, no, okay, hold on. Right now I'm holding down the arrow key and it is working. So maybe it's after pushing the block? No. How did I get in that state? It's not the not being able to go in a direction. Oh, maybe my putting the undo in the wrong place. Is it possible that has something to do with it? I don't know. If I don't figure out how to repro this. That's me slamming on both the arrow keys and WASD because those are alternative controls for the same thing. So it's pretty good that the system can handle movement that fast and, oh, wait, there we go. What the hell? Oh. Oh. So, yeah, enact. Next buffered move. It does this, generate buffered moves from held keys. No. Yeah, that's the footstep sound every frame, yes. How many actions per second could a user theoretically input? I think infinite. I don't think there's a limit. It depends on, I mean, you can have, I think, infinite actions per frame. So if your computer's really fast, you can do a lot of actions per second in the one frame. Yeah, what? This isn't a debug build, so I can't like step through it. Oh. I need to check to see if anyone calls enact next buffered move from a different place, because that might generate unpredictable behavior. It's not outside of this file. In fact, I'm going to put it in file scope just to make sure. Probably shouldn't have killed that. This is supposed to be an assert. Wait, I changed that. Did I not check in some stuff from my laptop? Oh well. Okay, so okay, wait, whoa. Got to do that. And I don't think we need that. Yeah. So I'm going to rename this have active animation. Right, so I don't need that. Have active. So any animation that's playing counts. Okay. Okay, so now let's look at who calls this. Enacts next buffered move. These two guys, that's the whole point, was I wanted to put these right next to each other, because that's really the only place this should be called from, and it is. So, and then, so if we don't have any buffered moves due to key repeats, then we look at, like, are you holding down the arrow keys or something? Which actually, in the earlier stream today, I said, hey, I need to fix this thing where when you hold down the keys, it goes several squares extra. This is what fixes that, because it used to be doing that by key repeat. All right, well, let's see. I mean, I guess I fixed it. I kind of want to make a game that you're supposed to play like this. Wouldn't that be cool if you just were watching a Let's Play and like that was how someone was playing the game? Like legitimately? Still need to fix that. That's something that's on my list for today. Like if I double tap to run over this square, I'm not supposed to keep going. Wait, did I keep going? Wait. Sorry, from here. See how I keep running? I don't want that to happen. And I put in code that's supposed to check that. Let me make sure that's checked in while we're discussing these things. Whoops. Well, that's going to conflict with whatever I've done here. Sokoban, update. Oh, we're going to get a conflict. Let's resolve that. Oh my God, this window is so big. When you try to go multi-mon on Windows, it's really not good. Yeah, all this is superseded by what I just did, I think. Yeah, whatevs, man. Okay, so how do I select the entire file and say we're using my file. All right. Hopefully I did that right and didn't destroy all my changes. Okay. Oh! What the hell happened there? What's happening to my mouse in those situations? We're straight up crashing. That's interesting. Let's compile with debug info. Is that with debug info? Hopefully. Stop checking for a solution to the problem. Windows has never found a solution to the problem. And yes, I know I can turn that off in the registry, and I've done that on many computers, and it's a pain in the ass. Find supported entities. Why am I on assembly view? Okay, this is code that I did just recently change. Because there's this weird thing where it's a turn-based game, and but you can have multiple asynchronous things happening. So if you have a guy moving into a square, even though he hasn't like physically moved into that square, you still need to like kind of lock that square and not let people go there. And then you have to resolve other weird things that happen. So because Visual Studio is a but, I don't know whether it was this call. I guess it was this call. And of course, it thinks OnTop2 is out of scope. Really? Oh, this is a... Why am I going down into the water? So that's a problem. Come on. Visual Studio. Oh, it's called undoable data, not undoable entity data. So the entity's position, I see. Wait, what entity is this? This isn't the player. Wow, we've got like a mega loop here. Okay, well, update following entities. Oh. Right. We're just killing the stack here with my new code. I'm gonna just comment. So the problem is we're falling and we're checking the square below our desired position and the square above our desired position. But we're in the square above our desired position, and then that's recursing, and yeah. It is an infinite recursion. So we're just going to comment this out because it's a separate issue. And I'm going to put falling on my list. This falling is interesting because it's like it's a timed initiated event, so it's a slightly different thing. Oh, so slow. So slow, okay. So now the question is, we didn't save undo correctly. It thinks that's the first frame for some reason. This is what I'm not supposed to be able to do. Okay, this is a giant disaster. Oh wait, I've got this back again. Maybe it has something to do with undoing. Okay. It's something to do with the entity state. Yeah, it's with undoing. Wait, now it's not happening. Now it is. Oh. I bet when we undo, we're not clearing all this new stuff about transaction IDs. Yeah, I mean, it's going to have a transaction ID that's like old and stuff. Refactor, make an official routine for this. Well, let's just do that now. Oh, actually, we can do, what's it called? Clear, reset, we say reset the visual interpolation. That's what we need to do. All right. Yeah. Oh, didn't work. What does resetting the visual interpolation do? Let's set the start time to -1. Let's set the transaction ID to 0, and just in case. Oh, shoot. Right, so I forgot. Evaluate rock splash. Visual interpolation. All right. It's still happening. But then if I increment the transaction ID a bunch, it's fine. Well, all right. So let's just assert here. Assert, well, let's make this easier. V is that. We'll just call these V. Assert V dot transaction ID is greater than or equal to manager next transaction to retire because transaction ID to retire. So that'll tell me if it really is. What the hell's happening to my sound now? Do you guys hear that? I think my sound loading is corrupted a little bit. You know, it's not strictly that, though, because we have this clue. Because when I was printing out what we're retiring, when that happens, the retiring number goes up very rapidly, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. So it's not something like that number there's some basic bug. I don't know, this one's interesting. I think I might try stepping through it, honestly, which is not something I do that much these days. But first, I need a pumpkin spice cheesecake cookie. Because at times like this, that's what I need. Okay, what's my breakpoint? My breakpoint is going to be generate buffered moves from held keys. What file is that in? That's in simulate, I think. From held, yeah. Gotta delete all these sometime. Simulate from held keys. All right, so we're gonna break point in there. Oh, what? All right. How do I do this? If we're in this routine, we'll do a data breakpoint. See if that works. Expression must, oh, right. All right, let's see if that works. Well, oh, there we go. I wasn't pushing left. Okay, so we're going to disable this breakpoint. Whoops, that was the wrong button. Let's just see what our program is doing. So we do control input. This should add a buffered move. Yep, we have a delta. Our delta should be -1 and the x. Yep. Oh, we got to get rid of this buffered moves waiting on. Oh, that's an old system that should no longer exist. And I could see if that's still doing anything, that could cause some damage. Because now this transaction system is supposed to replace all that stuff. What? Okay, so we do have a start time. It's greater than or equal to 0. So I don't know why Visual Studio is telling me that I am here. Let's just hope that's wrong. It is, because it's Visual Studio. All right, so now we enact a buffered move. All right. Remove by index. I'm making a note to get that close brace position correct in Visual Studio. Okay, all right, we get a move, and we enact the move. Wait, what? I stepped down into that. Whatever, I tried stepping down into that. We need to give Visual Studio slightly better information, I think. Okay, so we did all that. We came out of here. We did all this. This is wrong, and we're really on this close brace line. Okay. And we played an animation on that guy. Whoa. Wait, what? Are we really? Yeah, okay, so it's confusing about descoping. So we did do this, and then we descope. So really what I need to do I mean, the question is, why is it retiring these? The problem seems to be actually that it's retiring that transaction immediately. Right? Why is it doing that? We're finding nobody who has that transaction ID. So either the guy is leaving moving entities, which seems unlikely, or he's getting reset. Where? That doesn't set the transaction to ID to 0, though. Okay. I'm going to do this differently. Okay, what transaction ID are we on? 239. Okay, I'm going to say retire. I'm going to set a breakpoint here at ID is equal to 350. And I'm just going to try to pump through these and see why it retires. There we go. So we just cranked through like 12 frames right there and retired every frame. So right, so that's not, there's going to be several things in here, like sound effects live in this array, and there's going to be lots of stuff. So 351, and we're trying to retire 350. Oh, dude. Okay, here's what's happening. Maybe retire next transaction returns true if it retires a transaction. But that's not actually what the caller cares about. The caller says, are all transactions, oh. No, it cares about both things. Okay, we're going to say retired is this. So if we retired anything, we want to undo end frame. But this enact next buffered move doesn't happen if we retired something. Because in that case where we're holding down the key, we like started a new transaction. So for now, this might be not the right gameplay thing for later, but for now, we're only going to do this if manager.next transaction ID to retire is equal to the next ID to issue, right? So if there's no transactions pending at all, then we issue a new guy. Because the problem is, so the deal is he was already walking from one square to the next, but we retired the previous transaction of him, you know, walking the previous frame. But our new transaction ID is one higher because it's a new step. So that's why there was this infinite loop thing happening. Why that only happened after undo, I'm not quite sure, but okay. Well, now he limps sometimes, which is not good. After undo, he limps sometimes. That is, so there's still a whatever was causing that to only happen after undo is causing him to limp now. So I have to debug that. At least this is a better failure case, or maybe it's not. I mean, maybe I. So really there were two problems. We've gotten rid of one of the problems out of the two problems. You guys, what's wrong with pumpkin spice cheesecake? What is wrong with pumpkin? Okay, why is he limping after undo? It's definitely I mean, maybe I just don't cover all the cases. Like, that's all that really makes sense. Okay, so if it's a move, let's do that there just in case. See, this is not even... This is precarious now because move entity is now a high level thing. I don't know. We do have this do play sound thing. Oh, dude. That's the problem. So when we're calling this from undo, I'm going to make this clearer. And we already, oh geez, okay, never mind. This is going to be do play sounds. So doing undo is a global that we set when we do this. So if we're not doing undo, we add a visual interpolation, right? One problem messing things up is we were doing undos and we were adding 0 distance but non-zero time visual interpolations, and that would at least be very confusing. Okay, well, I don't know. That's a big enough change that we're going to try this. I don't know if that fixed anything or not, honestly. It appears to have. He's not limping anymore. I mean, he did just limp there, but I think that's a different animation, like an animation graph issue, which can definitely happen, because we don't do, like if we turn, we don't necessarily do smooth turns yet. All right. Someday soon, we're going to have to actually sync the sound effect with the animation. But, yeah. Okay. Let me put this back on fast compile. All right. Hey, the undo worked. That didn't work though. We panicked. Why did we panic? Simulate 667. Oh, we had a big transaction ID that was too low. I bet it was 0 somehow. I bet it was 0. So the thing that I'm trying to do is get that block fallings transaction ID to match. That's not a good idea. Oh, although if that's 0, right, if that's 0, that'll go into move entity just fine, because the move entity will set it to non-zero. So, wait. Okay. Line 667 again. But is that my new one? I think it is. Okay, it's only after the undo. The first time it works, always. All right, so we have a visual interpolation. Start time 0, duration 0. Why is the start time 0? It should be -1. Why is the start time 0? We have a default constructed visual interpolation. Right, which is what we get when we just construct an entity. You know, it should just be, this should just get set to its default value, honestly. All right. Undo, 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 undo. This guy's animations are supposed to be totally jacked. This is like a character that we're not really working on, so don't mind the fact that his animations don't make any sense. Dude, this totally works. Look at that. Because before I could push the block and then run on the water and keep pushing it. And now that is not a thing. And it speeds up as my guy speeds up. Okay, that was complete success. Come on. Command line. Just do what I say. Just do what I say. All right. Now, I have notes that I made. Is there going to be an actual undo in the game? Yes. It's not rewind like braid. It's a turn-based undo. It's a turn-based undo. Okay. Recall that I talked about that moves waiting on thing. And that has to go away. So this thing has to die. It looks like nobody was reading that, but let's see. Yeah, that was only being written. Dude, I hate Windows so bad at this point. Like, I wanted it at the top of quick access. Like, what is all this crap? This is just like recent folders. Good thing you put 2 folders called source there. Which one is which? I don't know. All right. All right. That is checked off. Okay, okay. Okay, there's a couple of things. So we were going to look over when undo end frame gets called. I'm pretty sure we did that, but it's on my list, so I'm going to double check it. Oh no, we didn't do this. All right. So let's go to player control. Yeah, we'll let that slide for now. We checked undo end frame in this file and enact buffer move in this file. So that's the only place in this file. I don't think we do this here. I think this is just regular side effects of a movement. In fact, you know what? On the mirrors, I think that as well. Let me put a so that I can debug this later. Where was that other one? I know why these are here, and we're getting rid of them. Because it's time to get serious about all of these things. Maybe I have to work that out in a different way, but like I said, it's time to get serious about making sure this is clean and understandable. Do I use the Emacs even on Windows? Yeah, I mean it's running, but I don't really use it. I used it in demos and stuff to show that I could click, you know, like there's videos on YouTube where I do some stats on the program while it compiles, and then you can click on various procedures and it opens them in Emacs. So I use it for that, but it's not part of my day-to-day workflow right now. It might be later, but I mean, honestly, I just want to get off Emacs. Who doesn't want to get off Emacs? It's terrible. Okay. Oh, let me at least make sure this still works. Oh. I'm my extra undo end frame. Yeah. I need a stopgap way to catch situations. We'll deal with that later. So the stuff that I did today handles transactionally all these things that are entity moves, but there's stuff that's not entity moves. Like you did an action and it destroyed a thing. And that may be automatically handled mostly, but we need to figure it out. All right, but I'm gonna check this in. Tiny, tiny text. Okay, there was one more thing, which is there was a comment that went unnecessary once we blah, blah, blah. Once we do the sync ID. Right, this visual interpolation warm-up time elapsed. That should just work now. Yes, it does. That was just about propagating some information onto the pushed entity, but the other stuff we did already did it. Any questions about stuff? Because I might just end the stream there. Oh no, there's one more thing I want to do that's totally unrelated. Totally unrelated. There's a couple things I could do that are unrelated, but you know, we're on an hour and a half now. Yeah, let me do that. So why does this not work? So basically there's a weird thing that's unrelated to anything we just did. You can navigate levels using the bracket keys. When I open the editor, this is an editor copy of the level, and I go back to the level, the bracket keys no longer work on either thing. And I wonder if that's related to why the light maps don't show up. But if I go back here, then the bracket keys work. But then if I open the editor, they don't. Well, we're looking for advanced level. Oh, it's a console command. And I think that's in developer commands. Advanced level. Let me see if that comes out before we whip out the debugger. Okay. So it does not say advanced level. In fact, none of these keys even work. But the world switching keys worked before. This is weird. This is weird. It is weird. Weird, weird, weird. Okay. Player. Developer key map. Okay, so now it worked. Okay, wait. Now it's printing advanced. Did I not compile it correctly? It's printing advanced level. It's just not. Wait, what? Compile. Maybe there's multiple. Okay. Okay, so wait, I have to load the level. That's useful information. Now it's not saying advanced level. What if I... Wait, now this isn't working? What the... What? What? This is weird, dudes. Okay. Now it's saying advanced level. Who do you trust in this kind of situation? Yeah, the editor also uses the bracket key for the same thing. Yes. But I was checking, and the editor didn't actually rotate through the levels when you were in editing mode either. So if it's handling it, it's also throwing it away. All right, I'm just going to step through. Now it does print out one of these spuriously at the start, so we'll go past that. Oh wait, maybe not. The breakpoint didn't work. Oh, because we didn't compile. We didn't compile in slow-ass LLVM mode that gives us debug information. Oh, and now we didn't run from the debugger. Got to do both of those things at the same time. Okay, wait, it's still, okay, that's alt. Okay, good. Oh man, now we're in some kind of loop. All right, load, go back. Okay, continue. All right, now. Okay, press bracket. It says developer key. Let's take a look at the event. It's pressed. UTF-32, T-code 93, which is a bracket. Okay. We print developer key. We handle the event. Here we go. We have a command string. We're running the command. We run the command. I bet I know what kind of a thing it is. I'm already seeing in my mind that the problem is, well, we'll see. It is some confusion between the regular entity manager and the editor entity manager. Okay. So we're going to skip down here till when we find the command. The command has a proc. We're running the command. Wait, what? Why are you here? Why do you think... Oh, this is a generated procedure, and we're not telling the debugger what file the text is in. You know, I've had demos before where I say, like, look, when you generate procedures with text, it goes in this, and that'll make for easy debugging. But we have to point the debugger information at that. And apparently we didn't in this case. But I can probably go to, what folder are we compiling in? Okay, and this is at line 118. Okay, command advanced level. We call get integer. And we say command advanced. Let's just go to command advanced level. Well, that calls advanced level. So where's that? Advanced level. Maybe I should just look here in the first place. Oh, well, that first statement looks awfully suspicious, doesn't it? I bet you. Yep. Why did I step through all that stuff and not just look at the code? That's why I'm trying to learn to not step so much, because sometimes you just look and it's obvious. I'm kind of cold, even though I've got this blazing fire. So I'm going to make a little bit of tea, and then we're going to figure out why current level set is not set correctly. How? Am I off camera now? No, I'm just high up. Okay, back in a second. Okay. I wouldn't say stepping through the code isn't useful anymore. It's just you don't need to do it a lot of the time is all. You don't need to do it a lot of the time. A lot of the time. Okay. All right, so let's just look at what is the deal with current level set. Who assigns that? Well, I bet this is just the problem. So we're, this is a global variable, and global variables are icky. Really, this should be in the context. Oh. This whole program was written before we had custom context. What if I do that? Let's do that. Now, I've forgotten even what the keyword is. Well, add context. Okay. So we're going to say, where is that? Current level set. Where does that live? Is that in main? We're going to try this out. Add context. This. Something like that. And then we're not going to do this hacky, because this is gross in several ways. It inserts a thread safety landmine, and yeah. New context is context. New context dot current level set is editor level set. Push context, new context, like that. So now everybody who uses current level set and then of course we have to make sure that the main can I just assign into the context? I hope so. Oh, geez. Okay, so we need, in the same way that we have an editor level set, we need a current gameplay level set. I don't know if I should allow this even in the language, but let me see if that even compiles. I might have forbid that. No, there's a lot of people trying to use current level set. Okay, well the other thing I need to do is update, do one frame. Well, we already make a new context. Okay, so now boy, if I screwed this up, there's going to be all sorts of places to null pointer dereference. Of course, there were before, and it was just a global instead of the context. It's a little scary. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen. Well, we at least loaded. That's kind of amazing. Hey, the light maps didn't screw up. And I can still switch around. It all worked the first time. So that's sort of the thing is, anytime you have a variable that's global, but that you're tempted to like swap out for a different one and run a bunch of code, it's like way better to put it in the context. It's way cleaner. It's way less error prone. I need to turn up the default movement to be... Why is this guy limping so much? Maybe we just haven't done his animations yet. I don't know. Wait, now this guy's limping? What? What did I do? Maybe this has to do with the level sets. Man, everybody will just limp if you give them half a chance. Yeah, he's not limping. And we open the editor, close the editor, still not limping. Open the editor, load a level, close the editor. Still not limping. That's probably an unrelated. Wait. Okay. As soon as he starts pulling, everybody's limping. So that, I'm going to call that pulling limp, and we'll do that as soon as I cross off this thing. several things I need to send emails about to other people on the team. All right, let me take out this developer key advanced level stuff. Okay. So, no limp, I think. Yeah, no limp, no limp, no limp, still no limp, totally fine. Still totally fine. Dude, I don't know. Maybe he did pull his block onto his foot. That's the point. Well, that's known not to work yet, so I'm not going to worry about that. All right, well, this may be the end of the stream for now. I feel like this limping bug is lurking and will show up again in the future, and we'll attack it when we can figure out how to repro it. Someday very soon, we'll do another animation feature stream, maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday. You wonder if I will ever make a game where the player can die. I already have in the past. And quite possibly in the future. Actually, in the recent past, I made a game where the player can die. It's just you guys haven't seen it yet. Yeah. We're just going to keep an eye out for the pulling limp. I got more important things to do. Yeah, putter unknown's putting grounds, you could die. It's obvious at first, and maybe all puzzles here and in the witness are so boringly obvious to someone who knows the answer. Is it hard to know whether they're actually boring for a new player? Do you have to watch me play through them? No, not really. You just have an instinct about it. You just have an instinct about it. And it's not like, the thing is, you want puzzles that retain an element. So, I try to explain this to people all the time, right? Like, what makes a puzzle interesting in a good game is usually a little bit different from what its difficulty, right? Because difficulty is a very shallow form of interest in a sense, and it gets monotonous, right? So what you really need to have is a feature that people need to come to learn or observe in order to do the puzzle. And then, so even if you have a level like this one, it's like, okay, it's not hard, but I can observe the pattern of how things go, and that's interesting, and it's different from the other levels. So it's not really about difficulty completely. Like, if the whole game was full of levels this easy, then it would be, there would be no point. But there's something here that keeps things working. Yeah, man, why isn't the putting grounds done yet? I want to parachute into Pochinki and hit some golf balls. All right, everybody. I'm getting out of here. See you guys later. Thanks for stopping by. Over and out.